peace, my comrades. Kune vamwe vakuita mhesha mukono makazwa Mnangagwa vachitaura kuti ukaita mhesha mukono muno munyika tinodhina newe. I want to assure you that my security agencies ekuno munyika yese aripo, they are alert kana pakada kuita any form of demonstration ikutaurwa nevavengi vedu.
All right, that's one of Emmerson Mnangagwa's criminal gang that is intimidating or threatening citizens that if you protest, then it will unleash violence on you. The very same guy has been awarded a master's degrees from Defense University. Let me read that comment from Andy 2030, Chikora Zvigananda. Chirau openly threatened citizens against protesting now. He is handed a defense master's, yet he has no military background. Defense University is being used to groom Mnangagwa's loyal thugs. Don't be surprised to hear he's now Minister of Defense. I'm not going to be surprised because, that's how Mnangagwa operates. He's been operating the same way for a long time. Many who are appointed as ministers in Zimbabwe who have real influential positions are not qualified at all. They have nothing to show in life. They simply bootlick him or dance or do his dirty work, and they find themselves in positions of power. I always speak about Tafumane, who is now the military commander that abducted and tortured Jesna Mukoko, the renowned media guru. That's how Mnangagwa works. So you can't convince me that he's in for you. He's not in for you. Emmerson Mnangagwa has got a criminal mindset. He doesn't care about Zimbabweans. He cares about what he benefits. That's why he can play the church. For those who don't know, you're going to be shocked of what Emmerson Mnangagwa is doing today. But let's look at the reports that was shared by Hopo in regards to Mnangagwa and now moving some of the retired generals into exile or into ambassadorships. But again, for me, it's just exiling them so that he can play his dirty work without no one following him. It's just dirty work. President Emmerson Mnangagwa is purging Zimbabwe's retired military top brass loyal to his deputy, Vice President General Constantino Chiwenga, by posting them abroad as ambassadors, the latest move in a succession battle that has intensified since President Mnangagwa extended his own rule by 2 years. After securing an extra 2 years in office through Constitutional Amendment Act number 3, which also bars his main rival from succeeding him in 2028, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has moved to the next stage of neutralising the political threat he sees in his deputy. The president is now posting senior retired military figures close to General Chiwenga out of the country as diplomats, especially officers long viewed as part of Chiwenga's power base, meant to propel him to State House. Retired Lieutenant General Engelbert Rugeje, one of the vice president's closest allies, is reportedly set to become president's ambassador to Mozambique, filling the post left vacant by the death of Victor Matemadanda. Air Marshal Elson Moyo, the former commander of the Air Force of Zimbabwe, and another officer with ties to Chiwenga, is also among those being sent abroad. 26 diplomatic appointments are expected to be announced in total, and sources say a significant number of them will put Chiwenga loyalists out of the country and into embassies far from Zimbabwe's corridors of power. The Mozambique posting in particular has become something of a pattern, a graveyard shift for retired generals. Former Lieutenant General Douglas Nyikayaramba took up the role in 2019 and died 2 years later after conducting COVID-19. Red flag. Victor Matemadanda, a war veteran leader and former junior defense minister, succeeded him and served as ambassador to both Mozambique and Eswatini until his own death in June this year. Rugeje would now become the third former senior officer Mnangagwa has sent to lead the Maputo mission in 7 years, a run that says as much about the president's succession strategy as it does about diplomacy. Interesting. I don't know if it is a strategy. Emmerson Mnangagwa has always been a dead game guy. And those in ZANU-PF have watched and nested as well. we need to be honest with ourselves, Zimbabweans. Are we in this world to live, or we are in this world to watch other people live? Okay, Emmerson Mnangagwa is living, doing all that he wants to do. The question is, are we just going to stand as spectators, or we are going to demand that we also live in a country where we are being respected? Because Zimbabwe is not Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is in Zimbabwe. But I also want to let you know that do not underestimate Chiwenga. Don't underestimate Chiwenga. Don't underestimate the military, and don't underestimate Zimbabweans at large. That's what Mnangagwa. It's not about Chiwenga. I say don't underestimating the military and Zimbabweans at large. I want us to look at the response from the retired generals, because they always respond. Okay, they are responding. Let's look at their statement. Let me be blunt. The reshuffling of ambassadorial postings currently underway is not diplomacy. It is exile with a title. When officers and officials who owe their standing and their loyalty to General Constantino Chiwenga suddenly find themselves dispatched to Pretoria, Beijing, Abuja, or Brussels, we are not witnessing career advancement. We are witnessing containment dressed in a diplomatic suit. This is not a new script. Any leader who fears a rival's base moves to hollow it out quietly, one posting at a time, so that no one can call it what it plainly is. Strip away the protocol, the motorcades, and the credentialing ceremonies, and what remains is simple arithmetic. Distance immense allies from the levers of power, and you convince yourself you have distanced the man himself. Zimbabwe's political history is not short of this maneuver. Reassignment has long served as the softer cousin of dismissal, a way to remove a man from the room without the optics of a purge. It allows the architects of the move to claim with a straight face that nothing political is okayed at all. Only career progression, only the ordinary rotation of service. But those of us who have sat in command briefings recognize the pattern the moment we see it. You do not send a rival's most capable lieutenants to embassies on 3 countries by coincidence. You did because you have counted herds and you did not like the number you arrived at. Loyalty does not relocate. Here is where the strategists in State House have miscalculated. General Chiwenga's standing was not built in ministerial corridors or cemented by ambassadorial commissions. It was built in the trenches of the liberation struggle, and it is reinforced over decades within the command structures and institutions that never precisely who carried the nation through its hardest hour. That loyalty does not relocate with a diplomatic passport. You cannot post a man's history to an embassy. You cannot transfer institutional memory the way you transfer personal. Whatever titles are handed out this week, the men being reassigned do not stop remembering who they serve under, and the structures they leave behind do not forget either. Those orchestrating this game of musical chairs should ask themselves a harder question than the one they have been asking. Instead of calculating how many of General Chiwenga's allies can be scattered across foreign capitals, they might ask what has actually been solved by doing so. The answer is very little. The underlying grievances driving Zimbabwe's succession debate, the frustration with the patronage network some have taken to calling this Uganda cartel, the unresolved question of who leads this country after Mnangagwa, the widening gap between the political elite and the citizens they claim to serve, none of that is addressed by moving names on an organogram. Scattering allies buys time. It does not buy resolution. Zimbabwe has seen this pattern before in earlier chapters of its post-independence politics, and it has rarely ended the way the strategists managing it imagined it would. Reassignment can delay a reckoning. It cannot cancel one. The longer that reckoning is posted through reshuffles and reassignments rather than resolved through honest political dialogue, the sharper it tends to be when it finally arrives. That is the lesson this current maneuver risks ignoring. diplomacy is meant to project a nation's interests abroad. It should not be repurposed as a tool for managing succession anxiety at home. Zimbabweans deserve a governing establishment that resolves its internal contests openly, not one that exposes its rivals and hopes that the problem quietly disappears with them. Retired General Winston Sigauke Mapuranga. All right. This is a very simple issue. Emmerson Mnangagwa underestimating the battle he's facing. I think very soon people will know I mean exactly that. Some have said, but why is it the military is not taking action? Chill, relax. You know, when you saw evil in life, like the magnitude of the evil Mnangagwa has sown against the people of Zimbabwe, you're not going to fall that easy. You have to fall hard, especially when you're arrogant, to really say, hey, I fumbled and I think I'm sorry and please, can we have a conversation? If you want to play the way Mnangagwa is playing games like he's smart, you have to face the music. You can't escape. It is just how nature is. So I'm not surprised when Mnangagwa behaves the way that he does. When he refused conversation, when he refused dialogue, he's never believed in dialogue. He's always believed in violence. But wait until he starts reaping the very same violence that he's playing by. That violence is on his way to him. He's going to see it head on and he will be shocked. Like all other criminals that came before him. Don't forget when Hitler, he had to kill himself because he thought he was smart. It's coming. And I'm telling Mnangagwa, it is coming. It is what it is. I feel sad when I look at that young person. Her name is KLC. KLC is one of Mnangagwa's concubine. You know, when there's too much money, too much idiots around him who was doing all your dirty work, you can have as many women as possible. I mean, Mnangagwa is known also playing the same game. There's always allegations that he's got, I don't know how many women that he has and how many kids that he has. His children are following suit because there's too much luxury. And they've looked at Zimbabweans like, these are fools. They will go to work and we take the money, we spend it on women. Anyone we want, on cars, on luxury, watches. You know, we are watching you very closely. And the time for you to pay for your sins is knocking at the door. I know you're going to answer soon. It's knocking at the door. But I wanted to warn young people in Zimbabwe, especially in Harare. I know some of you can't wait to be part of those bodies. You're being sacrificed. So those that you saw that young girl going to prison, it's not because Mnangagwa doesn't know who are drug smugglers. She's being sacrificed in exchange of the lifestyle, expensive cars, you know, traveling around the world, spending money first class, drinking expensive champagne. There are also allegations you are taking maybe expensive drugs. Nothing is for free in this world. Nothing is for free, mama. Girls, I pity you. I pity you. You don't know what these guys are doing to you. Especially you young babies. Imagine you're 22 years old. Do you think he loves you? Do you think he does love you? No, you see. If he really loves you, would you sleep in those cells? I feel sad for you. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think in the comment section. I stand by my words. Don't underestimate Chiwenga. Don't underestimate the military. And don't underestimate Zimbabweans at large. I love you guys. May God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. Bye for now.